on behalf of my mother-in-law, man, I bless each and every one of you that come on and catch this live. For those of you that catch this later, man, I bless you as well. Man, I apologize. I had the setting set wrong. I had it for 6 a.m. I'm not gonna ever do a live at 6 a.m. You know what I mean? Not that unless I can help it. You know what I mean? Man, I apologize for that. So I'm gonna give you guys a minute to get in here before we get started. Man, we're gonna have a good one today. The struggle with forgiving and loving. Man, just got finished watching a Laker game, man. It's a good game. I'm a diehard Laker. What's up with you, Raymond? Man, fam, we're going to go ahead and get started. And again, I apologize to, those of you that saw the, what's up with you, Paul, saw the post that I was going to do this live at 6 a.m. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen. And I apologize for that. Man, what's up with you, Jose? Man, my mind's been like so hectic, just so all over the place. So much on my mind, you know what I mean? So much going on. That being said, man, we're going to go ahead and get started, family. Man, whew. Labor love, what's up with you? Pray for me. You know what I mean? Pray for me. I'm nervous. I don't know why. I just got nervous all of a sudden. Man, I'm talking about the power, the struggle of forgiving, the struggle of loving. I happened to be on a conference call yesterday with a young lady, and we're doing some mentoring and stuff, and conversation started talking about, man, her inner child. You know what I mean? And I said that I wasn't going to talk about that until next week. And as I got done with the conversation, I was just laying there and I was just talking to God. And it's like, man, how can we really talk about forgiving? And it's like it seemed as though we just talked about forgiveness like maybe a week or two ago. You know what I mean? And it's like, God, I don't want to have this conversation again. You know what I mean? We just talked about forgiveness, and it's like, talk about it, but you have to talk about it from a different perspective. You have to talk about it going to the root of the problem. And man, family, this is going to be sensitive for some of you. You know what I mean? Man, it is what it is. You know what I mean? We have to grow up. And I know you guys hear me say that a lot, but we do. We think we're so grown. And there's a trip because as I was talking to this young lady, and one of the things that God brought to my remembrance as I was listening to her talk was that, Elijah, you struggled with forgiving people. You struggled with forgiving yourself. And then you went looking for love. And you went looking for love from all these people. And there's a trip, Elijah, because you have so much love to give, but yet you were in need of love. You have so much forgiveness to give, but yet you couldn't give it to yourself. Stay with me. We're going to go somewhere today. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just thought about this, and I was talking to God in deep meditation, and it's like, Elijah, talk to the people about their inner child. And I know this is going to sound weird to some of us, you know what I mean? Because some of us, we're not really used to having that conversation, talking about that inner boy within us, that little boy within us, that little girl within us. But every single person, every single human being alive has a little child within them. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how young you are. Every single one of us has that little kid within us. And if the truth be told, man, we're talking about forgiveness and loving, the struggle with forgiving and loving. Because the truth is, we struggle to forgive ourselves, and we struggle to love ourselves. So many of us, we look at what other people have done to us, and we get so mad and so pissed and so offended. How dare them do this to me? And what do we get all twisted up on what other people do to us, how other people treat us. And what God had to show, Elijah, how can you get mad at other people for how they treated you? When look at how you treated that little kid within you. Oh, we're going somewhere today. Elijah, you mad at your daddy for not accepting you and for mistreating you. You got mad and angry at your daddy for that. You hated your family because how they treated you and how they dogged you out and told you wasn't shit. And told you was going straight to hell. They told you how stupid you was. You got mad at all these women for walking out on you. Elijah, how many times have you dismissed that little boy within you? Elijah, how many times have you ignored that little boy within you crying out for your attention? Elijah, how many times has that little kid within you asked you to spend some time with them, asked you to have a conversation with you? And the trip is, you know what? We dismiss that little kid. What's up with you, Imani? We dismiss that little kid. We ignore that little kid because we want love from everybody else. We want attention from everybody else. We go seeking affirmations and love and everything from everybody else. We want everybody else to compliment us. We want everybody else to tell us how special we are. We want everybody else to tell us how much they love us and adore us. And yet that little kid within us is crying out for the same damn thing from us. And see, the truth is, we're looking for relationships. We have to have a relationship with somebody else. And the truth is, when we get in a relationship with somebody else, we ain't got time for this little kid. As long as you're looking for a relationship with somebody else, we don't have time for that little kid within us. It's only when we're by ourselves. When we have any attention, nobody cares about us. Our family don't give a fuck about us. And we feel so alone. And what God is saying is, look at how you treat yourself. Look at how you treat that little girl inside of you. You act as though she ain't there. You act as though she ain't crying out for your attention. You act as though she don't love you. You act as though she don't give you advice and wisdom to help you in your life. But you dismiss her. You ignore her. You invalidate her. And then you get mad at another grown motherfucker for invalidating you. You get mad at your ex. You get mad at your man. You get mad at your boo, your queen, your king, your kids for invalidating you. You get mad at your mama. You get mad at your daddy. You get mad at your teachers. You get mad at your supervisor at work. You get mad at the whole world for invalidating you, for dismissing your opinion, for not wanting to take the time and hear you out. See, when you start talking, you want everybody to listen. When you start talking about your feelings, you want everybody to pay attention to you. And then you get mad at your man for not paying attention to you. You get mad at your woman for not paying attention to you. You get mad at them for minimizing and invalidating your opinions. And we wonder why is all these people treating us this way? Why is all these people walking out of our lives? And see, that was rough for me because I grew up with abandonment issues because my mama died when I was 2. And so I grew up with abandonment issues. And so every woman that left my life, every female that left my life, I took it back to, oh, it was just my mama. I never got past my mama issues. But what God had to show me was, nah, it was that partially. but it runs deeper than that. It runs deeper than your attachment to your mama. It runs deeper than your mom. I don't know why they want to call now. Let me close this, kill the volume on this. I don't know why. I know why. You know what I mean? But God had to show me, Elijah, it runs deeper than that. It runs deeper than that. Elijah, all them women that ran out of your life, all them women that walked out of your life, you thought it was because of them. You thought it was because of you. What you wasn't understanding, Elijah, you got so broke, you got so hurt, and you completely missed it. See, Elijah, because you was molested as a little kid, we talking about struggling with forgiving and loving. Stay with me, we're going somewhere. Because I got molested as a 6-year-old kid, I made up in my mind at that point that another dude would never hurt me again. Another guy would never hurt me again. And so I started growing up, learning how to fight. And then I got some size to it, because no guy was ever going to hurt me again. And so then women started walking out of my life. And what God had to show me was, Elijah, you're mad at all these women for walking out on you. Elijah, you walked out on yourself a long ass time ago. Elijah, you abandoned that little boy within you a long ass time ago. Elijah, you ignored that little boy within you a long ass time ago. Elijah, you was mistreating that little boy within you a long ass time ago. See, what happens is we get in survival mode. Let me see, turn this light on for a second, see if that helps. We get in survival mode. And in survival mode, man, we ain't really processing some shit real good. You know what I mean? In survival mode, man, we trying to protect our heart. In survival mode, we ain't really thriving. In survival mode, we ain't living. We just existing. In survival mode, you ain't got time for love. In survival mode, you ain't got time for forgiveness. In survival, you ain't got time for growth and development. You're not trying to deal with none of that bullshit when you're in survival mode. And what happens is when we get hurt as little kids, we go instinctively into survival mode to keep us alive. And what God has shown, survival mode was good for that moment, to get out of that situation. But once you got out of that situation, you needed to start growing up and let go of that survival mode. Survival mode is only good while you're in that situation. Once the situation is past, you don't need to stay in survival mode. But you get comfortable in survival mode. You're scared of getting hurt again. And so you put up this protective layer so that you don't get hurt. And as long as you're in survival mode, you can't forgive anybody. As long as you're in survival mode, you're not really loving. You're not putting yourself in the position to really be loved. You're not. You can have people come into your life, but they're going to walk right back out your life too. We have to grow up. We have to understand, man, as they say, as above, so below. As above, so below. As our outward environment, as the chaos and the hell going on around us, odds are that same conflict is brewing within you. That same problem, that same trauma is brewing within you. And God had shown Elijah, I allowed you to go through this, and that, so that you could see, hold on, wait a minute. This is what's going on inside of me. I'm going through all this stuff in quote unquote reality. I have all these feelings and emotions. I'm on this roller coaster and I'm dealing with this. Because this is what I'm doing to that little kid inside of me. How these people are treating me. And I can't stand it. I'm offended. I'm pissed. I'm ready to beat somebody's ass and da-da-da-da. That's how I'm treating that little kid inside of me. How the people are treating you. That's how you're treating that little girl inside of you. When they disrespect you, they're showing you that you've been disrespecting her. When they dismiss you, when they shut you down, when they invalidate you and they tell you you ain't shit, you ain't worthy, that's what you're telling that little girl inside of you. That's what you've been telling that little girl inside of you. That's what you've been telling that little guy inside of you. That they're not worthy. And then you wonder, how come I can't find love? You can't find love because you ain't giving love to the little kid inside of you. How come you can't find value and your worth? How come you can't find somebody that see your value and your potential and what you're capable of and all that you bring to the table? How come you can't find somebody like that? Because you have somebody inside of you that you've never seen their worth. You have somebody inside of you that you don't appreciate, that you don't cherish, that you don't love. And then you get mad and pissed and offended when somebody does that to you. And then we have the audacity to be so fucking deep and woke and say that when people are going through shit, that's their karma. You reap what you sow. Hold up, time out. Wait a minute. How can we say they reap what they sow, but then not turn that shit around on ourselves and say, damn, all these people that have hurt me, all these people that have dogged me the fuck out, all these people that have offended me, all these people that rejected me and beat me and used me and da-da-da. Damn, I'm reaping what I've sown. I may not have sown that to somebody else, but odds are I've sown that to the little kid inside of me. I told that little kid inside me, I ain't got time for your bullshit. I don't want to spend time with you. I want to go hang out with Pookie. I want to go hang out with Jamie. I want to go spend time with Josie. And we want to go hang out with everybody else. We got time to be on the phone, calling and texting and emailing everybody else. We could check up on everybody else. But we'll never touch base with that little kid inside of us. We'll never ask that little kid, how do they feel? What are they thinking about? How have I mistreated you? How have I offended you? How have I neglected you? How have I abandoned you? How have I hurt you? evil. We can sit there and come down with a list of every time somebody else hurt us. We can write a list of every person we've dated and how they dogged us out, how they did us wrong. But we can't seem to understand how we've done that little kid inside of us wrong. We want to act like a fucking saint, like, man, I'm Jesus Christ and I'm perfect and I'm da-da-da-da-da. And I know I'm not perfect, but I don't go out and I don't intentionally hurt nobody and I don't mistreat nobody and I don't abuse nobody and I don't disrespect nobody and I don't invalidate nobody and I don't take from nobody. And we say all this bullshit, lying to ourselves. We're lying to ourselves. Our ego has us fucked up. Our ego has us thinking we're better than what we really are. We may not have done it to other people, but we've done it to that little kid. It's a trip. I used to tell people, man, you show people how to love you. I'll show you how to love me by how I love me. Is that it? In order for somebody to know how to love me, in order for somebody to know how much value to give to me, I have to show them my worth. And whether they can see it or not, man, I don't have to accept their bullshit. Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. So whether they see it or not, what's up with you, Daywalker? I have standards and I have boundaries that tell them I'm not accepting your bullshit. I'm not accepting anything less than this. So I show you how to love me. I show you how to value me. And the crazy thing is, if I really don't value that little kid in me, if I don't love that little kid in me, I don't value me. I don't love me. You can't love you and not have an intimate relationship with that kid. You can't love you and value you and not be connected with that little kid. We've lived fractured lives our whole fucking life because we've always gone out looking for attention from somebody else. We've always gone out seeking validation and approval from other people. And the realest talk you're going to ever get is from that little kid inside of you. The greatest love you will ever experience will be from that little kid within you. And here's the trick. No matter how much you fucked up in life, no matter how much you've abandoned and rejected and ignored that little kid inside of you, they love you. They love you unconditionally. They love you. No matter how much you wasted, no matter how much money you've blown, how many relationships you've blown, no matter what you've done in your life, how much dope, how much prison time, man, it don't matter. That little kid inside of you is always there waiting for you to come back home. That little kid inside of you is always there waiting. See, after a time, after a period, after a while, you could have fucked up so much that even your mom was, I'm done. I'll wash my hands of this motherfucker. I can't with this motherfucker no more. This motherfucker won't leave that crack alone. He won't leave that fucking meth alone. Whatever your shit is, this motherfucker won't leave. I'm done. Even mama's love is tired after a while. Even mama's love, it's like, I can't fuck with this one no more. I love you from a long way off. You can never bring your ass back to my house again. I ain't never giving you nothing else again. Because you've hurt mama so bad and so deep. Even daddy's love, man, and daddy's love for the most part seemed to run out faster than mama's love. Daddy's love, man, fuck that little bastard. He don't want to act right, fuck him. He can figure this shit out, what to do. I ain't going to visit his ass in fucking prison. I ain't putting no money on his books. Fuck him, he could sit there and starve. I don't give a damn. I've done all that I could for that little motherfucker, and he don't want to act right. Fuck him. He done fucked up the family name and the reputation. Da 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 da. Fuck him. And mama still try to sneak some money to you. Mama still try to let you call from time to time. Mama still come see about your ass. Mama still down on her knees praying and crying for you and pleading for you and all this other shit. But after a while, even mama's love runs out. But that little kid inside of you, it don't matter what you've done. It don't matter where you've gone. That little kid inside of you is right there. We talk about ride or die. That motherfucker is ride or die. And all they're waiting for is for you to finally crash and burn. Go through all the shit that you got to go through to come to the realization, damn, I got to come back home. And when I say I got to come back, I'm not talking about I got to come back to Cali. I'm not talking about you got to come back to your mama's house or whatever city you was born and raised in. You got to come back home to who you really are. And who you really are is that little kid inside of you. You're going to have to come back home. And you're going to see that little kid, man, standing there with open arms. That little kid standing there waiting for you. Wanting to give you a hug. Wanting to give you a kiss. Wanting to reconnect with you. And the trip is, they don't never judge you. They don't never hold anything against you. All the times you don't kick their ass to the curb. All the times, man, you don't dismiss them. I don't want to hear your shit. Let me turn the radio up because I don't want to hear you talking to me. Let me get on my phone. Let me turn up the TV. I want to hear anybody but you. And no matter what you've done to that little kid inside of you, they've never stood in judgment of you. They've never stood in judgment of you. They've stood there just waiting, trying to get your attention. And after a while, because you've done dismissed them so much, you done abandoned them so much, you've rejected them so much, you forget what they sound like. You don't remember their voice. I remember when my wife Cecilia died back in 2015. And I went to China and I was spreading her ashes all over China. And I remember what she looked like. I remember her smile. But the first thing that I lost her voice. Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. I forgot what she sounded like. I forgot what she sounded like. I would see a butterfly, I would see a ladybug, and I was reminded of her. And I could see her smiling. Even now, as I'm looking at the camera, I could see her just, her hair, her smile, her eyes, just her aura, and I could see her smiling at me. But I couldn't remember her voice. And that broke my heart, that I lost touch with her voice. And I remember crying out to God about something one day. He said, Elijah, you worried about Cecilia's voice. She's gone. What about your voice? And I'm tripping. I'm like, what are you talking? I know what I sound like. I know my voice, and I don't even like my voice. And da-da-da-da-da. I'm just mad because I'm not understanding God. And he said, Elijah, when was the last time you heard that little boy inside of you talking to you? When was the last conversation you had with that little kid inside of you? When was the last time you spent some quality time with them? And it's tricky because I was alone. Cecilia was gone. All my kids, they left after the funeral, and they stayed with me a couple weeks after that, and then they were gone. And I'm all alone. I'm all alone. But what God is showing me, Elijah, you ain't never alone. You got a real ride or die. But you're always looking externally. You're always looking for somebody else. How come you can't be happy with the little kid inside of you? How come you have to have somebody in your life to make you feel complete? Why do you have to have a woman or your kids around you to make you feel complete? And you don't even feel complete when they're there. You're distracted by them. You're engaged in conversations with them. You're laughing, having fun, and doing what y'all do. But you're really not complete. You can't be complete because you never become complete with the little kid inside of you. You never learned how to forgive yourself. You never even understood that you needed to forgive yourself. You're struggling trying to forgive everybody else. You're struggling because you can't forgive your daddy. You're struggling because you have all this animosity towards your auntie for how she raised you. You have all this animosity towards your siblings for how they are and what they've done to you. You have all this animosity towards these women for walking out of your life. And if the truth be told, Elijah, you're really not mad at all of them. You're just projecting your anger out on them. You're just taking it out on them. The truth is, if we get to the matter, the heart of the matter, the truth is, you're mad because you've abandoned yourself. The truth is, you're mad, you're offended that you've rejected yourself, that you've dogged yourself out. And you don't even know how to love yourself. See, because when people talk about loving yourself, we think, oh, I got to love me. I got to get my nails done. I got to take my bath. I got to wash my hair. I got to clean my face. I got to eat right. What's up with Justin? And I got to do all this other stuff to my physical being. And we think that's loving me. Loving you is loving that little kid inside of you. When you love that little kid inside of you, taking care of all this other shit comes naturally. But we don't know how to love us. We don't know how to forgive us. We don't know how to be in a relationship with us. Well, God has shown me. If you don't know how to be in a relationship with your own motherfucking self, how the fuck you think you're going to be in a healthy successful relationship with somebody else. And all they baggage and issues. All of they fucking trauma and drama. If you can't be in a relationship with your motherfucking self, what make you think you're gonna be in a good relationship with somebody else? See, a lot of people in relationships with other people, but they ain't growing. They having fun. They hanging out. They spending money and entertaining each other. They wilding out. They saving, they invest, they doing all this stuff. But if the truth be told, they ain't growing. They ain't growing. And so, we have to learn to love ourselves. And when you hear me say that, yes, we have to take care of our mentals. We have to take care of our physical being. We have to take care of our emotional being. But we have to be connected to that little kid within us. We have to be in an intimate, loving, compassionate, nurturing relationship with that little kid within us. And I know that sounds weird to us as grown-ass fucking people. I remember first time I took Cecilia to Disneyland. She was almost 40 years old. And we're there. And she was 40, couldn't think about it. And Disneyland out in California, at nighttime at the end, they do all these fireworks, lights, just everything, right? All the shows, right? All the light shows and just everything is just nice, right? And so I'm sitting there and I'm watching Cecilia. I'm sitting there watching her. And she's in such awe of what's going on. She's sitting there looking at all the colors and the fireworks and just the lights and just the glam of Disneyland. You know what I mean? She's just caught up in it. And I'm standing back to her side and I'm watching her. And the tears are running down her eyes. And she has this huge freaking smile. Like from earlobe to ear, she's just grinning and cheesing. And the tears are running down and she's glowing. And I'm tripping because I've never seen her like that. I'm tripping because here it is, man, my wife is standing here right here and she's hard, thugged out. She's hard, but she's in touch with that little girl inside of her. See, life had made her hard. Her ex-husband had dogged her the fuck out. She had lost trust in guys. She was starting to relearn trust with guys, with me, but she had become hardened by life. And so I'm watching her. All the people around us, and she didn't care. The tears are running down. And it's tears of happiness, tears of joy. And I'm blown away. And I know, man, this has been the first time in the longest time that she got in connection with that little girl within her. Her and that little girl was on the same vibe. Her and that little girl within, they were on the same frequency. They were connected. They were enjoying life. They were in love with life. And at that moment, all that mattered, all they saw was just the fireworks. They didn't see the crowd of people standing around us. They were just caught up in the moment. They were enjoying the moment. We have to learn how to get in connection with that little kid inside of us. And see, so many of us have blocked that little kid off because we've gotten hurt. We were molested. We were raped. We were teased. We were beat up. Whatever it is that we went through that made us build up this wall around our hearts and around this little kid so that they would never get hurt again. That wall that we built up became their prison. We did it to protect them, and we imprisoned them. And we could no longer hear them. We could no longer see them. We could no longer feel them. We could no longer sense them. Every now and then, they climb up on the wall, try to get our attention, and we build the wall higher. And we build that wall by ignoring them. We build that wall by pushing them back down. We built that wall by tuning them out. And the trip is, for some of us that have kids, y'all know that if you've had more than one kid, especially when they're little together, they're 2, 3 years old, 4, 5, and they're just getting on your fucking nerves. It's just screaming and fighting, crying, and it comes a point in time when you're in the car and you just, I just got tune these little motherfuckers out. You know what I mean? I love my babies, but man, I'm sick and tired of fucking hearing them. I would kill anything, anyone fucking with mine, but right here, I can't hear these motherfuckers no more. Man, and we go tone deaf. We block them out. Sometimes I used to laugh because my kids used to be like, Daddy, Dad, Dad. And that would get on my fucking nerves. Stop calling me. And it's like my little son, Elisha, that little motherfucker, he would just do that shit on purpose. Not one shit, just Daddy, 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 Daddy. Not wanting a motherfucking thing, just calling me. And that gets on my fucking nerves out the wall. Stop fucking calling me. You don't want nothing. Leave me the fuck. Go bug your fucking brothers. And then we be playing and just acting up. And I'm like, I can't with these little motherfuckers no more. I can't, you know what I mean? And so we tune them out. And God had to show me, Elijah, just like how you tuned them kids out when they got on your nerves, just like how you went tone deaf with them. They could be calling you and you can't hear shit because you got selective hearing now. All of a sudden you tone deaf. All of a sudden now you can't hear your little badass kid screaming and crying in the other room. You know they'll be all right. They'll figure the shit out. I'm not getting up, and they better not bring their ass in here, because if they come in here, everybody going to bed. Everybody getting their ass beat. They'll figure the shit out. They'll be all right. And you sit there, whatever the hell you're doing, you don't budge, you don't move. God had to show me, Elijah, how you were with your kids. You were 100 times worse with you. Elijah, as much as you tuned your kids out, as much as you blocked their noise out and they're screaming and they're pouting out, you were 100 times worse to the little kid inside of you. Elijah, you've been blocking that kid out inside of you for the longest time. For decades. For decades. And the trip is, we won't stay in a relationship with somebody that abuses us. We won't stay in a relationship with somebody that's mistreating us, that's dogging us, that's ignoring us, that's invalidating us, that's minimizing our thoughts, our opinions, our feelings. We get to a point after a while, I can't take this motherfucker no more. I've done everything I could with this motherfucker. I can't take them no more. The emotional abuse that I'm dealing with is too much. And we check out the relationship. That little kid inside of you, they can't go nowhere. However long you've been in that abusive relationship with that person, however long you've been in that abusive relationship with your mama, your daddy, your siblings, your boo, your queen, your king, your kids, your boss, that can't compare to how long you've been abusing that little kid inside of you. So if we're going to talk about forgiving, fuck what other people have done to us. We have to learn to forgive ourselves for how we've treated this kid. We have to learn how to forgive ourselves for mistreating this little kid who's never done us any wrong. They've never done anything wrong to us. Ever. When we talk about loving, let's talk about loving that little kid within us. See, here's the trick. Here's what God had to show me. Elijah, when you learn to forgive that little kid inside of you, forgiving anybody, or not forgive that little kid, but forgive yourself for how you treated that little kid inside of you. When you learn to forgive yourself for mistreating that little kid inside of you, forgiving everybody else is easy. It's easy. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? My daddy did woo-doo-woo-doo-woo. My daddy murdered my mama. He dogged me the fuck out. And look at what he did to that. And I got a whole list of all the shit my daddy done did. I got a whole list of all the shit my auntie done did. I got a whole list of shit that these motherfuckers who molested me done did. I got a whole big ass fucking list of the shit my sisters done did to me. A whole big ass list of all the shit the women done did to me. And what God had to show me was Elijah. If you're honest with yourself, all of those lists don't mean shit. If you're honest with yourself, all of those lists can't compare to the list you would have to write for yourself for all that you've done to this little kid inside of you. Elijah, if the truth be told, if you want to really be honest about this, Elijah, when you look at all the offenses of other people, instead of you judging them, you should have been asking, God, what is the lesson? Instead of you getting arrogant and narcissistic and judgmental to these people who've hurt you, who've dogged you, who've abandoned you, who've rejected you, who've abused you, who've used you, whatever the hell they done did to you. Instead of us sitting on our high throne and our high horse, looking down at everybody else and judging everybody else and putting them down for the shit that they done did to us, what we should have been doing was humbling ourselves, saying, okay, God, what the fuck is this about? Why am I going through this? And if we were honest with God and ourselves, we wouldn't have been saying, okay, because that person's a narcissist, and that person's so greedy, and that person's selfish, and that person's so mean, and that person's hurt, and that person da 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 da, and da 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 da. See, that's the shit that we talk about because we don't want to face the truth. We look at that shit and we use that as our excuse to keep judging them and dismissing the shit we've done and invalidating the shit we've done. So we keep looking at the fences of everybody else, the faults of everybody else. And as soon as we get in alignment with God and source, the universe, the Most High, and man, what is this supposed to teach me? See, we've never asked that question honestly. And so we keep going through the same bullshit over and over and over, just different people, different relationships, because we never asked the right question. We never got in alignment with God. And so once we get in alignment with God, okay, God, man, I'm sick and tired of going through this bullshit. Man, I'm tired of having failed relationships. I'm tired of these motherfuckers just dogging me out. I'm tired of these motherfuckers just using me and misusing me and doing woo-doo-woo-doo-woo. I'm tired of this shit. What the fuck am I supposed to learn? And see, so many of us are, oh, well, you got to set healthy boundaries and you don't let people use you. And then we become fucking hard. And we get, man, nobody's ever going to fucking misuse me again. Nobody's ever going to take advantage of me again. Nobody's ever going to disrespect me. I'm cutting everybody out there. And we become hardened. But we never learn the fucking lesson. We never grow the fuck up. And this is what the great majority of us have done. We become so hardened, so on alert. I'm so sensitive to people's energy. Oh, this person misused me. Snip, snip, snip. Cutting them off. Oh, this person's energy is negative and toxic and they've abused me and they said this and that. Snip, snip, snip. We're cutting them off. And we're cutting everybody off. And we ain't learning the fucking lesson. We're cutting everybody off. We're saging everybody. We're cutting cords with all these motherfuckers. And we ain't grown up and learned the fucking lesson. We're so super spiritual and deep. We haven't cut courting ceremonies. But we ain't never learned the fucking lesson. And what God is saying, the lesson is, what have they done to you? Okay. Now, what have you done to that little kid inside of you? If we're honest, the same shit that they've done to us is shit we've done to the little kid. And see, the thing about karma is you always reap more than what you sowed. You always reap more than what you sow. We don't want to talk about that part of karma, though. We don't want to understand that aspect of karma, though. See, we just want to talk about karma and how I treat other people. How nice I am to other people. How respectful I am to other people. How tolerant I am to other people. And we completely dismiss the fact that I'm disrespectful to the kid in me. I'm intolerant of the kid in me. I'm hateful towards the kid in me. I'm disrespectful towards the kid in me. We struggle with love. We struggle with forgiving because we've never learned how to love the kid in me. We've never learned how to forgive ourselves for what we've done. Man, we got to grow up. We have to grow up. Self-love. Yes, I need to meditate. Yes, I need to drink plenty of water. Yes, I need sunlight. Yes, I need to exercise. Yes, I need to be conscious of the things I put into my body, conscious of the things I put in my mind, conscious of the things I entertain. That's all part of self-love. Yes, I get it. But the greatest aspect of self-love is my relationship with that kid inside of me. See, because once I tap into that little kid inside of me, I tap into the greatest version of me. I tap into infinite power. I tap into infinite wisdom. Once I get connected to that little kid inside of me, that's the greatest version of me. That's the greatest version of you. You don't know that because you never spent time with them. You don't know, you never talked to them. You spent your whole life listening to professors and your daddy and the bishops and the preachers and the teachers and the politicians. You ain't never listened to them. And so you wonder why you're so fucking confused. The greatest version of ourselves is that little kid inside of us. Our power comes from that little kid inside of us. Our creativity comes from that little kid inside of us. We have to learn how to become whole. We've lost that along the way. See, you can't just go to God and say, okay, I'm going to be connected to God and I'm going to be whole. That's not how that works. There's a passage in scripture and Jesus is talking. He said, except you come as these little children, except you come as this little child, you cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. And I've always tried to understand that. That's always confused me because we've always seen little kids as ignorant. We've always seen little kids as not having a lot of wisdom, as being weak, as being gullible. We have to learn how to tap into that little child in us. And the trip is, and I've shared this before, for the longest time, I would never smile on my pictures. Never smiled. And my kids, my daughters especially, they would get so mad. They were so angry that I wouldn't even smile with them. And honestly, I really didn't know why I didn't smile. I thought it was like, that's weak. You know, that's punk shit. That's bitch shit. I ain't got time for that. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. And what God had shown me was, nah, that's not really it. You didn't smile because you wasn't tapped into that little kid. You were trying to put up an image. See, when you tap into that little kid, you become secure in who you are. Say it again. Once you tap into that little kid, you become secure in who you are. The great majority of us, we really aren't secure. We put on this facade of being secure. We put on this facade of, man, I got my shit straight and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, but we really don't feel good enough. We really don't. Once you tap into that little kid, man, Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. You see life from a totally different perspective. You see life through the eyes of God. And so when you start looking through the eyes of that little kid inside of you, and you start looking at all the things that all these people have done to you and how they've hurt you and now you're saying, dang, that's what I was doing to you. Dang, that's how I was making you feel. Dang, that's how I made you feel. And you start seeing life differently. And you thought these people were just out dogging you the fuck out. You thought these people were all just mistreating you. You thought these people were cruel and heartless and all this other stupid ass shit. Once you tap into that little kid. Once you tap into that little kid, it's like, man, your eyes become open. It's like you see life differently. You see life different. It's true because I used to always trip out on, I like psychology. I love psychology. And I've always tripped out on how when parents would talk about their kids seeing and having invisible friends. All these little kids got these imaginary friends. All these little kids are having conversations with people that aren't there. And then what happens over time is that the parents and the other siblings and the teachers and the powers that be shut that shit down. What I mean is they shut that shit down. It's not that the kids are having conversations with invisible people. It's not the kids have imaginary friends. These energies exist. These beings are there. Just like that little kid is there within you. But because we're so stuck on stupid as adults, and we think we know so much, we tell the kids to stop talking to yourself. Stop talking to these people. There's nobody there. Because you don't have the eyes to see them. Because you can't see the energy. And so you tell your kids, stop talking like that. Stop talking to you. People are going to think you're crazy. People are going to think you're weird. We're going to get you some medicine. And so we shut our kids down. We shut their abilities down so that they could be accepted by us. So they could be accepted by their parents. We stop talking to ourselves. We stop talking to that little kid inside of us because we want to be accepted by others. Because that's not normal. No, what's normal in America is for you to be a fucking alcoholic. What's normal in America is for you to be toxic as fuck. What's normal for us in America is for us to be crazy as fuck. Negative as fuck. That's what's normal. But we make that okay. We make that acceptable. And we demonize the people that ain't like us. We demonize those people that are tapped into that little kid within them. We demonize those people that, that's witchcraft. We don't want to do that. We don't want to deal with crystals. I know God made them, but that's still devil stuff. We don't want to deal with sage. I know God made the sage and he created the sage and he created all the plants and herbs and God put all the medicinal benefits in the plants and herbs, but that's devil stuff. We don't want to do that. We don't want to take concoctions and mint and sage and rosemary, and we don't want to make teas and all this other stuff and drink it and breathe that stuff in and it cure us and help us. We don't want to do that because that's devil stuff. That's witchcraft. We'll just go to the doctor and take some medicine, some toxic ass pills that's going to fuck up our liver and our kidneys. Because the doctors have been blessed by God, and God has ordained these doctors and all this bullshit. That's normal. That's normal. It's normal for you to go to a fucking doctor, pay for your fucking copay, pay for some fucking medicine that's gonna fuck you up internally. And then you gotta go back and pay another doctor to give you some more medicine to fix what the other medicine did. That's normal. That's fucking insane. That's crazy as fuck, but that's normal. That's acceptable. But what's not acceptable is for you to grow your own herbs. What's not normal is for you to go out there and pick some lavender and echinacea and marigold and mint leaves, some comfrey, some dandelion. That's not normal. That's not acceptable. This is how toxic we've become. This is how confused we've become. This is how disconnected from that little kid within us we've become. This is how disconnected from God we've become. See, here's the truth. And we're not ready to hear this. When you reconnect to that little kid, you reconnect to God. See, so many of us, we've been taught to go to church and have a relationship with God in heaven. And dismiss the little bastard inside of us. We've been told that God is all the way around, all around us and everywhere else. We've never been told to go into ourselves, to get reconnected with that little kid inside of us. Because once we do that, we become all powerful. Once we do that, we can't be fucked with by the rest of the world. We can't be influenced by the rest of the world. We're not moved by their bullshit. We're not impressed with their superficial bullshit. The struggle with forgiving and loving. See, because as a little kid, they told me the acronym, well, they said JOY, J-O-Y. It's an acronym. This is what the religious people told me. This is what the fucking Christians told me. And if you want, to each their own, you know what I mean? Do you? But this is what they told me growing up. The acronym for joy was you put Jesus first, you put others second, and then you put yourself last. Jesus, J. Others, O. Yourself, Y. Last. And that has fucked up the world. You do not put yourself last. That's why we ain't got no fucking power. That's why we don't know who the fuck we are. That's why we don't love ourselves. That's why we're always dismissing and minimizing and ignoring that little kid inside of us. Because we're so busy trying to put everybody else on. We're so busy trying to seek everybody else's attention and do everything for everybody else and be around everybody else. And we're so busy and burdened, worried, and fucked up trying to be everything for everybody else. We ain't got no time for the little kid inside of us. Because I burnt the fuck out, ripping and running for everybody else. I'm too drunk to have a conversation with the little kid inside because I'm hanging with the homies. I'm so fucking smoked out the world, I can't have an intelligent conversation and a real conversation with the kid inside of me because I'm blitzed out my fucking mind. We have to grow the fuck up. We have to grow the fuck up. And we grow the fuck up by getting in connection with the little kid. The little kid. That's how we grow up. That's how we become whole. That's how we become all powerful. That's how we learn to love. See, many of us, we got this fucked up concept of love. I love you as long as you never hurt me. I love you as long as you don't mistreat me. I love you as long as you don't disrespect me. I love you as long as you don't hurt my feelings. I love you as long as you don't cheat on me. Because once you cheat on me, I'm not loving you no more. Once you hurt me, I'm done with you. Once you mistreat me, I'm done with you. That's not fucking love. That's conditional love. That's not love. Love is unconditional. Grow the fuck up. Stop putting rules and boundaries or conditions on your fucking love and calling it love because it's not fucking love. Ain't got shit to do with love. Just like that little kid inside of you, no matter what you've done to them, they're still there for you. That little kid still loves you unconditionally. No matter what you've done, no matter how bad you've done them, they don't hurt. They don't stop loving you. Love is unconditional. It's unconditional. If your love isn't unconditional, then it ain't fucking love. Same thing with forgiving. I don't have to have you ask me to forgive you. You don't have to change your actions and your life in order for me to forgive you. I know this is going to piss some of you off. And I don't give a damn. Grow the fuck up. I forgive you regardless of what the fuck you do. I forgive you whether you grow the fuck up or not. Whether you change your habits or not. I forgive you. Just because I forgive you don't mean I got to be in a relationship with you. Just because I forgive you don't mean I got to fuck with you. I forgive you because unforgiveness is negative, toxic ass fucking energy that fucks me up. Unforgiveness is an energy that will fucking kill you. Unforgiveness is an energy that if you don't check that shit, it'll turn to fucking cancer, diabetes, and all kind of other fucking ailments. And so we have to grow up and understand. What's up with you, Eileen? We have to grow up and understand. Once we get connected with that little kid inside of us, the whole world lights up. Once we get in connection with that little kid inside of us, the whole world becomes our fucking amusement park. Once we get in connection with that little kid inside of us, We see the whole world as our playground. And some of you are so fucking deep. Well, that's not real. No, what's not real is your negative, toxic, fucked up thought process. That's not real. It's only real because your ego has you fucked up and on that negative, toxic ass fucking frequency. We have to grow up. We have to grow up. Little kids could be dirt poor and outside playing and having a blast and not even realize how poor they are. Little kids, unless they've been programmed by ignorant ass fucking adults, they're not fucking racist. They're not fucking prejudiced. They're not fucking homophobic. They're not fucking religious intolerant, have religious intolerance and political intolerance and all that other stupid ass bullshit. Little kids don't give a fuck about that bullshit until some adult start fucking with their thought process. Little kids don't give a fuck that you a girl, you a boy, I like you, you like me, we friends, let's go play. Let's have fun. That's all. I don't give a fuck you black, you brown, you white, you did it. Nobody cares as little fucking kids until they've been fucking programmed to hate and discriminate. We got to grow up. We struggle with forgiving. We struggle with love because we don't know what forgiveness is and because we don't know what love is. So many of us associate love with hurt. So many of us associate love with pain. We have to grow up. Man, my hope and prayer is that you get in connection with that little kid inside of you. That become your first priority. That becomes your first priority. Because everything unfolds naturally when you do that. Everything opens up to you when you're whole. See, as an adult, we're so blinded by our past. We're so blinded by our experiences, our traumas. We're so blinded by being so fucking woke, thinking we're so fucking smart. Man, we got to get it together. I hope and pray that I said something that's blessed you, that's encouraged you, that's inspired you. Man, I'm going to say a prayer and bring this to a close. Moderators will be meeting up on the Zoom meeting right after this. So just go ahead and click on the Zoom link and we'll all be there. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for this time. I thank you for this privilege. I thank you for this platform. I thank you for the moderators. I thank you for this tribe. Father, I thank you for the love. I thank you for the beautiful energy that's shared amongst us. Father, I ask that you just help us heal. I ask that you help us get in connection with that little kid inside of us. That we put everything else to the side and that, man, we stop chasing money. We stop chasing relationships. We stop chasing cars. We stop chasing titles and everything else until we get connected with that little kid inside of us. Till we come back home and become one. Father, I ask that you help heal our broken hearts. Help heal our broken minds. Father, I ask that you just keep us, protect us. These are other blessings we ask. Man, family, I thank you for being here. Man, I do not take this platform lightly. I do not take the fact that you guys are here lightly. Man, My heart, my passion is just to help. If my language offends you, pray for me. It's not going to change anything, but pray for me. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Man, I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.